Hello there, this is Oral Ofori, your host and producer of The African Dream. Today, we're here with Tony Otto, and we're going to talk about the process of buying a home and the process of acquiring a loan to buy a property. This issue has become very important because we realize that a lot of people in the diaspora, especially from the African countries and from literally the developing countries, shy away from property ownership, one of them being acquiring a home. And we're here to have Tony explain certain things to make it more understandable for those of us who are interested in acquiring properties, especially homes. And then we'll take it from there. Thank you for joining us today on the African Dream, Tony.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. Before we begin, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Oral, it is kind of interesting how I got into real estate. I was producing a TV show, actually, almost like the way that you're doing it, and was mentors the Hispanic community at that time.
Okay.
We're talking about 1998, 1999. And the aim of the show was to help the community understand different issues that were going on in the community. For example, taxes. We did a show about child abuse. We did a show about immigration.
Right.
We did a show about. We did a children's show also. And then in 1999, we tried to purchase our first townhome. But as you know, as many of us immigrants, we don't know the system. We don't know what actually takes to buy a home. So most of us feel kind of a little fear of the unknown, let's say.
Got you.
And so I tried to purchase the first townhome, and it was not a pleasant experience. To be honest with you, I mean, I didn't know much about real estate, and the agent that was trying to help us did not help the situation. Was not easy to communicate, was not willing to share a lot of information, and I didn't feel comfortable. And so I kind of decided to get my feet wet a little bit more and really understand more of the process of buying a home.
Right.
So I decided to interview agents, and then that led me to interview loan officers, and that led me to interview title companies. And
so you basically did your own personal investigation into the matter.
Exactly, but the weird thing is that the more I got into it, the more I felt comfortable about asking questions to the professionals.
Right.
I also interview home inspectors and appraisers. And so by the time that we were airing these shows on Arlington Community Television, people started calling, and they were asking me to help them understand the process to buy a home. But I never crossed my mind that I could actually help them buy a home or get a loan. So I refer these potential buyers to the loan officers and to the agents that I was interviewing at the time. And lo and behold, 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, I got calls, in a sense, complaining that these agents and these loan officers were not actually providing
the kind of assistance they were expecting.
Exactly. And not just that, but the information that the clients need to be able to make that decision to purchase, especially us, where we are immigrants. We come from a different country, different system. We don't understand the process, and we don't understand the system. And there's a lot of interest, all these words that we don't understand. There is a broker, an agent, PMI. I mean, a lot of terms that we don't understand, and we kind of get scared about those terms. And so I decided to, when they call me and complain, I told my wife that this doesn't make any sense.
Right.
I mean, I'm kind of promoting these agents and these loan officers, professionals, for the community, but they are not providing the service that the community deserves. And so, like they say, the rest is history. I decided to get my license, and took me a while. I mean, after I did all the shows, I started the shows in 1999, and I got my license in 2001. So you're talking about at least two years there of the process. But then my goal was to provide a good service,
Right.
provide good information, and help the immigrants understand that this is a process, that is not a one-day event.
Got you.
And so we needed to learn the process of the buying, and we needed to learn the process of the loan process, which are two different things.
Got you.
Plus, help the potential buyers understand that they're going to have a little fear because this you come from a different country, now you want to make a huge leap from renting
To buying.
and then you kind of feel like, oh, this is a huge responsibility. But if you really think about it, you've been paying a mortgage since you've been renting.
Right. That's an interesting way to look at it. Now, you talked about the fact that you got your license to become a realtor in 2001, and we're now in 2016. That makes it about approximately 15 years.
15 years.
You've been doing this for 15 years. Now, tell us, how does it feel?
How does it feel going through these 15 years? And you have to love what you do.
Got you.
Because it is not an easy transaction. It is a very complicated transaction. You're talking about helping clients from different parts of the world, which we have done. I mean, we have dealt with clients from all over the world, literally. And so it's just the fact of starting from the beginning, from scratch, from they are renting, helping them understand that it's going to take us 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months to buy. As you know, that it sometimes takes longer than that.
Right.
and so there's a lot that goes into it. There's knowledge about the process, experience about the process, understanding of where our clients are financially, emotionally, and just trying to help them. And I think one of the things that help us in our team is that we understand that we are not trying to sell people, we are trying to help people understand the process.
Gotcha.
So that makes it easier for both parties, because we are not pushing, we are not stressing our clients on the, you have to do it because the interests are going up, or the home is going to be not in the market anymore. I mean, we don't do that. Because we understand that it's a process, and our clients need to understand the process from the beginning to the end, and it takes time. It takes time for them to understand the process and really know that they are benefiting by buying a home instead of renting. I mean, if you think about it, a person who rents for, pays a rent for $2,000. I mean, in a year is what, $24,000.
Right.
And you cannot claim that on the taxes. 5 years. I mean, you're talking about a lot of money right there. So
you dropped some hints in the past few minutes that you've been talking about the reason why, especially immigrants, or simply put, first-time home buyers, shy away from buying properties. In a nutshell, and based on your experience, could you tell our viewers what you think is a major stumbling block to people when it comes to buying a home?
There are a few. I don't think it's just one. It's fear of not understanding the process. I think that's the main thing, because that happened to me.
Right.
I mean, I wanted to buy the first time home, and then the person that was helping me, the agent that was helping me, did not took the time to explain the process, to explain the interest rate, to explain why I have to provide all this paperwork to the loan officer. I mean, I have to understand what I'm doing so that I feel comfortable with. Don't tell me just bring me this, bring me that. I mean, explain me why. Tell me why. Why I need to bring my W-2s, my taxes, my pay stubs. Why do you need to pull my credit? Why my credit has to be high, over 640 or 720, and why am I getting this interest rate uh, versus this other interest rate. All those little things that people don't understand need to be explained in a way that they understand, and so that they understand why they are getting that interest rate that they are getting,
Right.
and so there are no doubts in their mind. I mean, you're talking about a huge
Responsibility.
And huge transaction. We are not talking about $5 coffee or $10 bottle of wine. I mean, we're talking about, at least right now, the least that you can buy in this area in Northern Virginia for a condominium. You're talking about at least $150,000, the least of one bedroom
Right.
condo. So if you're buying a home, you're talking about a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. I mean, you're talking about a huge transaction. So
Yeah.
it will take time for them to understand the process, and it will take time for them to understand that it makes sense for them to buy a home. And we can go into that a little bit later on.
Sure. So I'm ready to buy a home. What are the important things that I should keep in mind or have ready? When you were talking, I heard you mention have your tax papers ready, have your W-2, your pay stub, and all that. Have a good credit score or at least standing. Could you throw some more lights on that for our viewers?
Sure, and I think that's obviously as immigrants, we get here, we get a job, we start working, we start trying to understand the system, and one of the first things that a lot of people suggest is start building your credit. And sometimes we don't understand what you mean by building my credit. And so, nowadays everybody, I don't know, at that time the internet was not still, as popular as now, but
Right.
but now with the internet, everybody has access to a lot of information. And so, us as professionals have to know and be up to date on what is going on about the process of the buying process of the loan process, and try to assist the clients to understand that. So basically, the banks look at three things. They look at character. They call it character, which is actually your credit score, which you have built for over at least a year or two, and that shows how responsible you are in paying your bills back.
Mm.
And then you have a capacity. How much are you able to bring in? And that's, obviously, if you are married, they take your salary and your wife's salary into consideration. And then they look at how much debt do you have. And then they look at collateral. So they call it the three C's. They look at capacity, character, and collateral. There are different loan programs. They have a conventional loans. They have so right now they have a 3% down. They have a FHA loan, which is a 3.5% down. They have a VHDA loan, which is 0 down. So there are plenty of different options. But again, collateral, how much money do you have to put down? Capacity, how much money you bring in, and how much is your debt, and then character, how you being able to manage your credit, the score.
Great. So I've been renting for the past almost 3 years, and within that space, I have been working for almost 4 years now. Now, why would you advise me to buy a house?
For the simple reason, and again, we're going back to the system over here, and when you understand the system of why it's beneficial for you to buy a home instead of renting, as previously discussed. I mean, if you add up how much money you've been paying on rent for the last 4 years, I mean, it's a lot of money that you cannot account for. I mean, it's just gone. You actually, and when you actually think about it, you've been paying a mortgage. I mean, you've been paying a mortgage, but not your mortgage. You're paying somebody else's mortgage for 4 years. Now imagine if you would have bought the property 4 years ago instead of renting. On those 4 years, you would have been able to use the interest that you pay towards the loan when you do your taxes. When you go and do your taxes, your tax advisor usually asks you a question. do you own a home? And when you're renting, you say no. And they don't explain to you that you should buy a home. Uh, and the reason is that when you rent, you cannot make any deductions on the rent. But when you buy a home, let's take as an example a $200,000 home. Okay, on a two, these are hypothetical numbers, but let's say that you buy a home for $200,000. In a year, basically, you are going to pay about $13,000 in interest. That is deductible from how much money you make a year. So if you make $50,000, let's say, now you don't pay taxes on $50,000, you pay taxes on $37,000. So that in a sense, you are saving money.
Mm.
Besides that, the taxes that you pay on the property are deductible. So let's say it's $2,000. So now you don't pay taxes on $37,000, you pay taxes on $35,000. When you do the equation, you are actually saving about $3,600 a year by buying a home.
Mm.
I mean, that is one benefit.
Right.
That you are able to make those deductions and pay less in taxes. So you're saving about, let's say, $3,600, let's say $4,000 a year in taxes by being able to buy a $200,000 home. That is one benefit. Now, if you think about it, 4 years ago, let's say that you would have bought that condominium for, let's say, $150,000. That condominium in 4 years, it gained some equity.
Got you. So the value appreciates?
Of course. So now that equity is not the bank's equity. That is your equity.
Uh-huh.
So if you decide to sell now, you would make a little money. Yes, there are costs involved, because you need to hire an agent to put the property on the market, and you have to pay real estate fees and all that kind of stuff. But at the end, you make some money. So you save money by being able to declare the interest in the taxes when you do your taxes every year, saving some money there, and then the potential of making some money when you sell. But right now, if you're renting for 4 years and you're going to move to another rental, there's no gain. You have not taken advantage of the tax deductions, and you're still paying somebody else's mortgage. So that's a huge, huge incentive, especially for us immigrants, to understand the system and take advantage of the system to benefit us and our families.
Got you. Got you. So, what are some of the difficulties that you face as a realtor in your job helping people acquire properties?
Difficulties, I don't see it as a difficulty, I see it as a challenge. And our challenge is to start the process with a family, a couple, a single person, and see where they are and where they want to go, and then guide them little by little until they really understand the process and feel comfortable about the process, and they are 100% sure that yes, this makes sense. I mean, why am I throwing money on rent when I can buy? But it's not a matter of just buying, it's a matter of understanding the benefits. So I don't see it as a difficulty, I see it as a challenge. Can I help this couple understand the process? Can I help them become more confident about them making the decision that this is a good decision for them? I mean, so for me, it's not a difficulty, it's a challenge.
Nice. Interesting. Now, this just came to mind. There's this situation that people run into where even getting a place to rent is a problem. It becomes very difficult, mostly because of the financial aspects of the situation. And there are housing opportunities available in such situations. One of them is Section 8. Now, in this country, when you mention Section 8, people think about bad things or bad places. What do you have to say about Section 8?
In Section 8, about the pros and the cons, I guess, from the viewpoint, the perspective of the renter and the perspective of the investor. The investor is buying the property to rent it out, and the renter is using Section 8 to find a place to live. And I think you find different answers for the same question, because everybody has a different experience, and this is why since I started working as a real estate agent, every day is a challenge. Every day is a new challenge. It's a new client. It's a new situation. It's a new loan. It's a new program. It's a new home. It's a new county. It's a new everything.
It's always evolving.
Everything is evolving, and so you never encounter the same situation.
Mentioned bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
If a homeowner gets in a very tight financial corner and they have no option but to, declare bankruptcy, what is the advice you'd have for them about things they can do to help themselves get back on their feet and eventually in the future be able to become a homeowner again?
Well, disclosure, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of different cases. I did my first short sale in 2007. I was looking at my files, and I saw that my first short sale was in July of 2007, and that's when a lot of people did not understand the process yet. A lot of immigrants are self-reliant. They are hard workers, very hard workers. They are stable. They like their job. They stay there for a long time, and that's one of the main things that the banks look for. Do you have a job? For how long you've been there? Bankruptcy is not for everybody. Now, again, I'm not a lawyer, but I've seen a lot of cases. We have helped people that went through short sale, bought a home again. People that went through foreclosure, bought a home again. People that have done bankruptcy, bought a home again. And the one thing that I can see on those three cases is that they were able to kind of just brush it off and get back into working, saving, stable again, saving, and then building their credit back and making the payments back, and they are now owning a home again. Mm-hmm. So imagine that one of those people that lost their home in 2008, imagine that they never bought a home and they just rented. Imagine that, okay? Mm-hmm. So if they rented, they never had the experience of buying.
Right.
Okay? They still renting, but they never had the experience of buying. They never had the experience of losing the home. They never had the experience of getting back in their feet. And now these people are very strong. These people that are buying back again, they're extremely strong financially, emotionally, and mentally, because they have gone through a extremely tough situation.
I get your point.
And so it's a learning experience and a growing experience.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. When you make the leap from renting to buying, you have to see it as a maturing experience.
Right.
We are adults and we're trying to mature, be better fathers, be better husbands, and all that kind of stuff. But to do that, we have to go through some rough stuff sometimes. I'm not saying that you have to go through it, but these people are now back in their feet and are very strong. Remember, there's a huge, and there are studies that show that there is a huge difference between a couple or a person that buys a home versus a person that just rents. There's a huge difference. And there's a huge difference between kids that grow in their own home versus kids that their parents are just renting. Because you as a husband, as a father, when you and your wife, when you buy a home, you kind of feel that pride. Man, I did it. Now we have a home. And that is one of the things that they look into the system. When you buy a home, you go buy curtains, you paint it, you go buy paint to Home Depot. So that actually kind of fuels the economy in the country. That's why they encourage people to buy their home, because now you are more active and you are buying stuff to keep your home up to date, you feel like a pride of ownership.
Got you.
That by itself will help you keep your home nice and,
Gotcha.
and looking good and ready to sell if you need to sell, eventually. But again, if you think about renting versus buying, I think buying is your best bet.
Buying is the best bet. You just heard Tony Otto say. Now, Tony, tell our viewers just a little bit about where your job is and if they want to get in touch with you personally to get help, on either home buying or renting advice.
Well, I mean, they can visit our website. It's actually easy to remember. It's www.justtalktotony.com. That is our website, and there are different reports in that website. We have reports for buyers that helps them to understand the process of the buying process and the loan process. They can actually send us an email and ask questions about the process, and we are ready. Our team is ready to answer any questions that you might have. But I think the easier way for you to get familiarized with the process is to go to our website. Again, it's www.justtalktotony.com.
And you can see the website address scrolling right there on the bottom of the screen. It's www.justtalktotony.com, like he said. And I advise you do that because he's been doing this for close to 15 years. That's over a decade, and he has a lot of experience and a lot of interesting stories to share that you might find relatable. And like he said, home ownership is much better than renting. And when the opportunity presents itself for you to own a property and you are in a position to do so, just go ahead and do it. Thank you, Tony, for talking to us. Really appreciate your assistance.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Just drop to this, to the left, slide and drop to this, to the right, slide and drop to this. Then step forward, make you just drop to this. Move back and just drop to this, to the left, slide and drop to this, to the right, slide and drop to this. Then step forward, make you just drop to this. I represent like the weather. J.E. I take another boogie, come, make you come feel. It be the boogie for the